This episode is for people who have been doing this for a while, not just starting out, not in the honeymoon phase, somewhere in the long middle. In these conversations, people talk about time passing, about seasons where output ebbs, about staying with the work even when it changes shape, pace, or meaning. There's very little talk of arrival or emerging here. Instead, you'll hear what it looks like to keep going without constant momentum, visibility, or external validation. If you've been asking yourself whether it's still worth it, this episode is not meant to answer that question for you. But if it helps you feel less alone while you think it through, then it's doing its job.
Yeah, and so then flash forward to 2019, and I had a really off year. Like, I was barely working, a close friend had died, just terrible year overall, until 2020 happened, and then, um, but, so I was like, okay, like, I'm writing for all these publications that keep going under, like, I can't sustain this anymore. Why don't I go to library school and um, just start over?
And it's like, I think there's just so many different paths I could take. Like, do I want to be like, how can I? And I think in my head, it's like, would I make money off of just being a street style photographer? Like, in my head, I should go out to Times Square during lunchtime and just like sit around and just document or take pictures. But I just keep thinking, like, would anyone think it's cool, or is it just me? I don't know. But I do miss just like having some creative thing. And I say that because, a lot of artists have died lately. I even think about like when my dad died, everyone could say like he was really good at this, or he really loved to tinker with things and make things. And I sometimes wonder, this might be very morbid, like, what will people say about me like when I die? Like, I don't know. I sometimes wonder if I'm not going as deep as I need to. But I feel like I'm just so busy, I don't have time to go deep. But then I say, maybe I'm not going deep because I'm scared to go deep.
I think it's something I've been thinking about around my painting lately, that um, it's this feeling of when you're walking through life that you can have these like completely polar opposite experiences at the same time. And I've been focusing on it more recently, just as I maybe go for a walk or I'm in my studio, or just it's and I'm trying to wrap my head around it too. It's that, like, you can feel like something is really hard but also meaningful at the same time. You can feel like you can feel lonely in a party with your closest friends and family. You can feel maybe isolated or you're on an island all by yourself, but you're kind of, the company is like the rising sun. But that, like, we go through life and have this, like, often two experiences at the same time. And I've been thinking about it a lot because I'm trying to figure out how to put that into my paintings as some way of like visual tension, or capturing both sides of an experience. So I think that's what's been my preoccupation, because it's kind of keeps coming up as something I think about lately.
How do I talk about this? Well, it was okay. Rock bottom. Rock damn bottom of my life. I was homeless. I was like lucky enough that a dear friend of mine let me stay in a space. I kind of took it over as a studio. I took it all over as my living space. I didn't have.
You're a good squatter.
I'm a really good squatter. I was homeless at the time, which is a hard pill to swallow. I was like, for X, Y, and Z, but mostly Y. And I was just kind of in this like awful spot where it felt really dark, and I was like, all right, what is what's the breakthrough action and what's the revolutionary action of this, and how can I understand this not as like, I'm a failure as a human being and as a man and as a New Yorker. At that time I was working in fashion. Lots of very wealthy friends, lots of very wealthy clients. I had really expensive suits. I had 50 pairs of shoes, and I was homeless. New York story. And the whole thing was so ridiculous. And it was like, here I am, like, how do I process this? And I was making funny videos for the store I was working at the time, this store called Kieran Zabet. And I was like, okay, let's just make some funny videos and just kind of get stuff out and just get things out on camera. I love YouTube. I love, public access. I just love, vernacular. I love kind of awkwardness. I like weird kind of like awkward moments in speech and conversation where things fall and fail down. And I was exploring that. And I was like, okay, let's just imagine that the world's over and I'm the only person in the world and I'm making my TV viewing, and this is what I'm doing. And so it was like kind of like trying to get myself to do something because I was in such a deep depression and I didn't know how to cook and I didn't know how to eat. There was this one video I did where I made salad, and it's literally how I was eating. And I just had a bag of salad and I would just cut it and put a little bit of like salad dressing and shake it up. And so the whole video was like how to have salad without any utensils and like no kitchen, and you're living in your studio and you're so depressed you can't even get out of the couch, like just do something. And then it just kind of like evolved into all these like silly little videos where I was reinventing how to do things. There was this one video, I think it's still up, where I made kind of window plant containers, flower pots on the window, but I made it out of like garbage that I found, so like discarded kind of bamboo blinds, and I rolled it up and I put some dirt in it and some weeds. I put it on the windowsill.
See, what can we turn into a container?
And then I discovered that the light in the refrigerator was really fabulous, and I did this whole Ovid. I love Ovid. I love the Metamorphosis. And so I did the Ovid Metamorphosis from the refrigerator by opening it up, and then I'd tell the story about what happened, and then I'd close the... And it was great. It was a lot of like fun, and also I felt so self-conscious about it, which is this perverse thing that I just kind of love. Feeling self-conscious and feeling awkward.
Feeling clumsy
And just kind of falling into it and appreciating the clumsy, awkward failure.
Yeah, we're human.
And yeah, the humanness.
Yeah, we're human.
It's like really delicious.
Yeah.
And how to punch through and how to change reality and how to break my reality. And constantly like smashing through and breaking through realities and pushing. It's like it's a magical working in a way where I'm changing the reality, I'm changing the timeline, I'm changing the communication,
your vibration, vibration.
Bingo, right
You're
there.
Starting low, and then you're bringing yourself up.
Or I'm low and I'm parallel. Now.
You're just lateral.
I'm lateral. I don't think I got the vibration up for that. No. I think it was a lateral move. And then like
it's a creative process.
It is.
You're
it
like,
is.
I'm birthing.
Yeah, I'm birthing
ridiculous.
Something. And it's ridiculous, and I couldn't sell a painting. I couldn't make any money. I couldn't find housing. Everything was failing. All of my relationships were falling apart. I was chasing all these like young, like stupid kids around and like trying to figure out how to be like 25 again. And it was just all
pathetic.
It was so clumsy.
I wouldn't change this for anything in the world, but like I feel like both the like highs of like and the joys of like people who are close to me like very acutely, and but I also like can feel their pain and and all the things that like their insecurities, the thing that like brings them down, the things that prevent them from showing up in the way that they want. I feel those like just as acutely, if not more sometimes. And sometimes that's just like overwhelming to like feel like I know how everyone's feeling, and trying to, and sometimes I try to not put it all on my shoulders. Like I know it's not about me at the end of the day, but sometimes like as a strategist, I can't help but to think about like what can I be doing in this moment to like help someone who is struggling with depression or like just going through a hard time, dealing with grief or something like that. And I tend to try to take on a lot, and sort of at the cost of like maybe my own well-being, or like the well-being of like even like the people that are in the rooms next to me, like my wife and my child. And so that's the thing that I think is like probably the hardest piece, is like just remembering that like other people's battles, even though like I want them to be my battles too, because you know we are in this together in life. It's like not like up to me to solve, and just like give myself a bit of grace that like sometimes like just listening is like all people really need, like just being seen, just like acknowledging that people are feeling what they're feeling is often like the greatest gift you can give. And so I always try to remind myself of that, but it's hard to remember sometimes.
Listening back to these voices, what I hear is people staying with the work through grief, change, fatigue, and long stretches without clarity. The long way through isn't linear or efficient. It asks for patience, discernment, and a willingness to let things change without abandoning them altogether. If you're somewhere in the middle right now, unsure of the next move, or wondering whether it still counts, I hope these voices felt like company. You don't have to resolve anything today. These conversations will be here when you're ready to go further. Off you go.